Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata.
Hi guys, I am here to talk to you today about being happy. So the Course of Miracles talks about happiness being our birthright. It's really the way that we're supposed to be living life, being happy. But obviously as the detour happened from fear into love, and as we chose to believe in it and we chose to believe in all the things that the ego told us, we forgot what it was like to be happy. Course of Miracles lesson 66 talks about how happiness and the function are actually one and the same. So your purpose really here, and this is a question that we all ask ourselves, what is our purpose? What am I here to do? You know, the simple answer, the Course of Miracles answer is you're here to be happy. So how do you get there? Well, if we break this down a little bit more, the reason why a lot of us are not happy is a choice. So from a Course of Miracles perspective, there's two voices that obviously we have going on in our minds at all time. One is the ego voice, the voice of fear, the voice that gives us all these illusions about why we need to not be happy at any given moment. And the other voice is what the Course of Miracles calls the Holy Spirit, or what I call the voice of love. And the voice of love is always wanting to be happy, and it's always giving you ways and attracting situations into your life to teach you and to help you learn how to be happy and be happy in any given moment. Now the thing is, it's our choice whether we choose to believe the ego and we choose to believe voice of love. Now most of us, again, because of this detour, have barely invested in this voice of ego, so we feel like this is the only voice that is true. And the more that we invest in these illusions that the ego feeds us, obviously the less likely it is that we're going to be able to be happy. So really look at what the ego has shown you is going to make you happy. So the ego will tell us things like, work really hard and get that promotion and then you're going to be good. And then you get the promotion and then you feel like it's not good enough. They're not paying me enough. How come they didn't give me a bigger promotion? So then the ego is going to send you on the next ego quest, looking for the next thing that supposedly is going to make you happy. Or if you're in a relationship, you know, it's going to send you into, oh, well, why am I just dating this person for like 5 years? Why can't we get married already? Well, you get married and all of a sudden you're like, well, I'm not happy in this relationship. Why can't we have any kids? Then you have kids and then it's the next thing and the next thing. So it'll continuously feed you things to make you feel like you're always searching for that happiness in some future event or in some situation outside of yourself that doesn't really come and will never satisfy you. So if you look at the things that the ego have showed you that will make you happy, see if you really truly have ever found happiness. Because this is what helps us distinguish between what we need to be invested in and believing in and what we don't need to be. So the Course of Miracles teaches the problem is not the ego. The ego only is doing what the ego knows how to do. The problem arises when we choose to believe in it. So if we choose to believe in the ego and it's sending us on these quests for happiness that are never going to work out, that are never going to really get us satisfied, they're never going to fulfill us, or if we're going to choose to believe in the voice of love that is going to send us on this quest for love, and it really is going to send you inward and realize that inside of you, you were really born with everything that you ever needed to be happy. It's just that you forgot that you were born with it. And that's really what the detour is all about, that we've forgotten how to be happy. We've forgotten what makes us happy. And for many of us, when we hit, some of us are early adulthood, or some of us maybe later in life, when we begin to remember, you know, we really start looking at like, oh man, I forgot that I like to do this, or I forgot that I enjoyed that, or I was just watching the movie The Shift with Wayne Dyer in the movie by Hay House, and it showed this one character in the movie, a mom, you know, that she had forgotten that she loved to sketch. She was really involved in being a mom and thinking that this is what she needed to be doing 24/7, you know, being a parent to her children, that she had really forgotten that she just loved and had this passion for sketching and how happy she was. And she described it as being in a state of bliss. You know, she told her husband in the movie, you know, I feel blissful when I'm sketching. So that's really what it is, that moment with yourself, those moments of creativity, those moments of passion are really where a true happiness comes. And we get them in that moment. It's not like we, you know, give into a passion, let's say for me, of writing, and then later on something's going to happen that's going to make me happy. So if I'm writing right now, and all of a sudden when I get published in a book, it's not the book being published that's going to make me happy. It's going to be, I've already been happy because I've been writing all along and I've had this gift of writing inside of me. From the moment that I was born, it was with me. You know, obviously over time I've cultivated it, and also over time I've forgotten that I enjoyed to do it. And this is the whole journey of being happy, is to remember. So stop worrying about things. This is the whole point, that we worry so much about what our purpose is and how to find it, and then we try to make it happen, which that's a disaster. That's even worse if we try to make it happen. And we're always trying to get to the next thing, trying to get successful, trying to be ambitious, trying to get to the next goal that we create, or whatever it is that's up. And we're worrying about it consistently. So we're worrying about getting the promotion. We're worrying about the relationship. We're worrying about whether we're going to get married. We're worrying if we're going to have kids. We're worrying if we're going to get our book published. You don't need to worry. The worry doesn't get you anywhere but unhappy and stressed out. That's the whole point. That you're not happy when you're worried. I can't think of one person that says, "Oh, I'm happy when I'm worried." And the ego has really taught us to think that we need that to get places. Most people think like, "Oh, but the fear is what drives you." Oh, well, that's very sad. People get to do many beautiful and wonderful works in this world that do not involve fear. That actually they're really doing it out of their passion for whatever they're doing. So the thought, again, another beautiful illusion that the ego has given us, that we need to worry and stress out in order to make things happen and to be happy, it's just a bunch of BS. So there's another character in The Shift that I have to mention in the same movie, that he's a director and he wants to make he wants to be Martin Scorsese. He even uses that as an example, the character in the movie. And he keeps thinking that Wayne Dyer, as he plays himself in the movie, is crazy, because he's like, "What's with this magic you're talking about?" And not magic as in the Course in Miracles magic, just in general magic. He's saying like, "What's with this stuff you're talking about? Like, it's just supposed to happen." And of course, he thinks this is a bunch of baloney, that like you're just gonna sit there and allow things to come to you from this natural place of flow, from this natural place of you being happy, from you fulfilling your function of being happy. Everything will come into your life. He thinks this is a bunch of crap. And it's not towards the end of the movie that, I guess, speaking to a person, the owner of the actual place, that explains to him how he loves to play a piano. He always played, and he forgot that he loved to play the piano, or he stopped because his ego told him that it mattered what other people thought about him playing the piano. So he wasn't just doing it out of this joy, out of this flow of him enjoying the piano, but he started to do it to try to please people, or try to do it not to disappoint people. And he just kind of forgot. The piano just sat there in that place for a long time and he never touched it. So what in your life is it that makes you happy that you haven't picked up in a long time? What creativity do you have inside of you that you haven't done, just because you think, "Oh, what are people going to think?" Or "I don't want to be a disappointment," or "I have to focus on this," or "I have to focus on that." So remember that. That's our whole journey. That's our whole thing, is to remember that we're meant to be happy. Remember that this is your function. Remember, like the dude in the movie, the director, realized it's just supposed to come to me. It's okay that I'm just inspired. That is where inspiration and creativity really come from. So stop believing in the ego. Stop thinking that because you worry about things are going to work out better, because they're not. Understand that your purpose and your function here is to be happy. And from that place of happiness that you have inside of yourself, that you were born with, everything will just come to you. You'll just attract more things that support that happiness. It's the only way to be. That is where milagros happen, from that flow, from that shift where we stop worrying about things and we shift into just being happy, into love, into passion. Things will just come to you and everything will be easy breezy. I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't worry, be happy.